Holiness has been so critically characterized through lampooning, through various ways. It's used for comic relief material. The idea, people being identified as holiness, has had such a negative connotation. Anytime you see the idea or the conception of how we praise God, how we do what we do, it is always in a comic presentation. In movies, they demonstrate or show how we do by certain things that they do not understand. They show the expression of our joy and how we praise God and how we respond, and that they equate that with joking and jesting as if we are playing. As a result, holiness through the years has been considered the religion or the denomination of the uneducated or the unpolished and the uncouth. This is a misrepresentation of what true holiness is about. Part of the reason why it has been the brunt of jokes, and also people have taken very cynical opinions and positions about it, is because how it has been misrepresented. We have reduced holiness to be dress codes. We have said that holiness was about a particular style of dressing. It's often been communicated to be holy is to talk about the rules, the rituals, the do's, and most importantly, the don'ts. When you consider holiness, it's been so taught that it's about where you can't go, and what you cannot do, what you cannot engage in. If you want to be holy, you can't do these things. All of this, my brothers and sisters, is a misrepresentation. So as a result, people don't want to be considered holy any longer. Even the government, in its attempt, in a very subtle way, has contrived and come up with a scheme to curtail and to monitor how much we project and how much we represent holiness, even through governmental aid, i.e. faith-based initiatives, 501c3 status. They tell us what we can call it. This can't be Kingdom Life Church, it must be Kingdom Life Center in order to receive governmental funds. In order to do certain things, we must make it as lateral as the rest of any religious idea in order to be and adhere to rules and regulations and stipulations by people who are unregenerated. And because we want the benefits of certain things, we comply. So no one wants to be identified or labeled as holy any longer. We've taken it off our monikers. We've dropped it from our conversation. We use every other kind of psychologically soothing word, but we don't want to be considered holy anymore. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about hats. I'm not talking about black suits. When God was talking about holiness, he was not talking about anything externally, nor was he speaking to a denomination, because Leviticus clearly is written pre the church. So this can't be a New Testament concept alone. But to understand holiness is to study God. Because while God's nature is love, love is his nature. Holy is his character. Love is his nature. Holy is his character. The other characteristic that you and I experience and develop is integrity. Integrity is about what you do. It's the choices that you make. It is you keeping your word. It is you saying what you mean and meaning what you say. Integrity is about doing what you say you're going to do. But ladies and gentlemen, as I began to study and to meditate on this, I discovered that God cannot have integrity. God cannot have integrity. I cannot suggest that God has integrity because that would suggest that he is imperfect. Psalms 18:30 says he's perfect in all his ways. Now, you and I have integrity or don't have integrity. Don't get mad, but you might be sitting next to somebody. But all of us know somebody that either has no integrity, little integrity, or great integrity. There are some people, when you call their name, you feel good about them because they keep their word. They do what they're going to, they say, or rather they do what they say they're going to do. But then there are people in all of our lives that we have known somewhere, work, school, home, wherever, in the community, on TV, that there is a great disparity between what they say and what they do. And we categorize those individuals as people with no integrity. Can you say something here? Now, for me to reduce God to being an integral person is to suggest he is on my level and that he is susceptible to the same human characteristics as me. God does not need and does not have integrity because there has never been a difference between what he says and what he does. He never is struggling to perform what he spoke. As a matter of fact, if he speaks it, it's got to come to pass. From the beginning of creation, we see this God who works clearly out of character. Let there be, and there was. And God said, and it happened. He's not a man. Nobody? That he should lie. Neither the Son of Man that he should be repented of. If he said it, he's going to do it. If he spoke it, have I not spoken it? Shall I not make it good? There is no difference between what he says and what he does. Let me just throw this in parenthetically. If he promised you anything, he's not in heaven biting his nails, hoping he can come through, because his character won't allow him to be anything but perfect. The only time we see him, don't get it twisted, he was God in the flesh. And the only reason why he came through human means is so that he can become the propitiation for sin. He had to come our way so he can redeem us from the curse of sin. But at no point was he not God. If you check his resume and if you look at the Gospels, you discover that he proves it every now and then. Who else could have on their record that they walk into a cemetery and call a dead man by his first name and the man comes out of the sepulchre? Who else but God can give a widow back her son after stopping the funeral procession? Who else but God could take 2 little fish and 5 KFC-sized biscuits and feed 15,000 to 25,000 people? It was not a man who did that. It was God. And this same God who spoke the world into existence spoke and it stood fast. He commanded and it stood fast. This same God became flesh. He became flesh. He jumped into an earth suit and borrowed an earth suit for a little while, but never gave up his divinity at no time. That's why in the midst of being bloodied and battered, he stands in front of Pontius Pilate and says, "No man takes my life. I know I look like walking death, but I've got the power to lay it down, and when I get ready, I'll pick it up again. For this cause was I born. For this cause have I come. I've come to do a work, and when my work is over, I'm going back to being who I've always been. Because from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God."